Hi, artists of the world. I'm Natalia from Yes Art Marketing, and on this channel, I share practical ways to grow your art business, stay consistent, and turn it into something sustainable. So feel free to subscribe if you want more of that. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because mostly I keep seeing artists get stuck in the exact same places where I was stuck a couple of times for way too long. It's when you feel like you're working on your artist's career, but if you're honest, you're not really moving. You're tweaking things, adjusting things, preparing things. Maybe you open your laptop thinking, today I'm going to work on my art, yeah, or on my content or whatever. And somehow you end up reorganizing your Instagram, changing fonts, looking at other artists' profiles, and then the day is gone. And as a person who has wasted many days like that, which I don't like to admit, but I found a way out of this, I can tell you, it all feels productive, which is the dangerous part, but in reality, it's procrastination. When you zoom out, none of it actually moves you forward. So I want to walk you through a few things that people obsess over that don't really matter that much, at least not in the way you think, especially early on. And as I go through this, just notice if you recognize yourself in any of them. And let's start getting rid of things that you don't need, okay? So here are the things that do not matter when you're starting to share your art online. The first one is brand colors. This usually starts in a very innocent way. You think, okay, I want to take this seriously. I want to have a consistent look. So you go on Pinterest, you start building a palette, maybe you open some design tools, and suddenly you're comparing slightly different shades of green for an hour. And the whole time it feels like you're building your identity. But the uncomfortable truth is not that you're not building your identity, it's that nobody cares about the colors, like not in a harsh way, but in a real way. No one is discovering your work and thinking, well, this is great, but I'm not sure about that tone of orange, yeah, in that font. People either connect with the art you make or with what you say, or they don't. And most artists I know who are doing well now, their colors evolved naturally over time. They didn't sit down and decide them in advance, yeah? So if you've been stuck here going back and forth trying to get it just right, that's a sign you're focusing on something that feels important but isn't actually important. It's not moving you forward. That's not real progress, okay? So let's move on. The next one is your logo. Same thing essentially. This is very seductive though, because designing a logo feels like a big official step, okay? Like I want to launch a website, I want to have a logo. Yeah, okay, now I'm building a real brand. This is important. But what usually happens is you open Canva, yeah, you open Illustrator, whatever up, and you try a few ideas, none of them feel quite right, and you keep going, keep tweaking, and you going, and you going, and keep tweaking, and keep tweaking, and suddenly you've spent your entire Saturday trying to make something clean and minimal, while your actual work, the thing that people will follow you for, hasn't moved at all. And I've done this. I know people who've done this, and the honest answer is at this stage, your logo is not what is going to make or break anything. Your posts are your identity. Your work is your identity. Your art is your signature. A logo is just a small extra, and most people won't even notice it unless everything else is already strong. Yeah, then maybe a logo would be a good idea to add. It's very cool to have a logo. You can use that for your packaging, for your stationery, whatever, but you don't even need it for your social media. It's not a necessity. Yeah, a photo of you on Instagram serves much better than a faceless logo that no one yet can recognize. Let it go. Logo doesn't matter. Moving on. The next is your Instagram bio. And yes, bio is useful. It's important to have a good one. I highlight that too in my classes. But it can suck you into procrastination circle just as easily. It's almost funny when you really think about it. When you open your profile and think, yeah, okay, so this needs to be better. So you rewrite it. Good. You rewrite it. Then you check how it looks. You change one word, then another. Then you look at other artists' bios for inspiration. And now you're comparing sentences like their life decisions. All of these for something that people spend 2 seconds on. So what I'm trying to say is that a good bio is important, but it's not worth spending your life over changing it over and over again. You can change it every several months if you feel like, but finding a perfect bio once and for all, that's not realistic. Yeah, maybe people would follow you because your bio was perfectly phrased, but to get them there you need to make content. Yeah, so the bio is an extra tool. It's not the one and only, and it's not the main thing. Get it done, get it well done, but then you gotta move on to making actual content. People follow you because something you made them stop scrolling. So your bio needs to just answer very basic questions, actually: who you are and what you do. That's it. If you rewritten it 10 times, you're not improving it anymore. You're just avoiding something else. So stop improving, move on, do something else. Another big one I see all the time is trying to maintain a perfectly consistent aesthetic from the start. This usually shows up as hesitation. You make something and before posting it, you think, does this fit my page? Is this on brand? Will this ruin the overall look? Does it look aesthetic enough? And then you don't post it, or you delay it, or you try to fix it until it matches everything else. I recently had a message from an artist asking me what I think about having a perfectly aligned grid of 9 images on Instagram showing a painting in pieces so that when you open a page, you see one painting split into 9 posts. You know what I mean? What do I think about it? I think it's a waste of time on something unnecessary. It's not the clean, consistent aesthetic that you admire on other profiles. I mean, maybe you do, yeah, great. But is it a guarantee of success? No. It's an incredibly hard work to keep your Instagram visually perfect like that. Is it the hill you want to die on? I don't think so. If you're not like that, if your art isn't like that, if the perfect aesthetic is not in your nature, then maybe you're spending effort on something you can't sustain long term. And social media success most of the time is the result of a lot of work over time. Think about how you're gonna stick with it for as long as you want to sell art. It's exhausting, okay? If you relax a little bit about your aesthetic and let it be imperfect just as you are as a human being, that's still fine, yeah? Behind social media success, there is dozens, sometimes hundreds of pieces that didn't quite fit, experiments that didn't work, directions that just got abandoned, trials and errors, abandoned ideas. You don't just see those. Yeah, if you try to force that level of consistency too early, you basically cut off your ability to explore and experiment. And without exploration, your work doesn't evolve. So if your page feels like it feels a bit messy right now, maybe it's not a problem. That's you in the middle of figuring things out. It's human, it's as authentic as it gets. Another thing that gets people really stuck is the idea that you need a clearly defined niche before you start. This often looks like overthinking. You sit thinking, what exactly do I want to be known for? Should I focus on this or that? What should I choose? What if I choose the wrong direction? What do I do then? And because you don't have a clear answer, you hesitate. These are all good questions. These are the right questions to ask when you want to niche down, yeah? So you wait, you plan, but you don't post. And the irony is that if you're trying to solve something that can be solved right now in your head, you're not making progress. You're not making the right decision. Let me put it this way. Your niche is not something you can decide once and for all, especially if you're not ready to decide, yeah? It's something that emerges. You make things, you notice what feels natural, you see what people respond to, over time patterns appear. If you already know your niche, if you are 100% committed to painting something specific, or you already have your signature style or something, if you feel like your art is recognizable, perfect, stick with that. That's a great idea. That'll help you. Having a niche is a good thing. But is it helpful to decide it from the start? Maybe not, because if you feel like this is going to restrict you and you feel trapped and you already dislike the idea of not being able to experiment, then don't, okay? If you try to force this clarity before it naturally evolves, it's going to make a problem for you. So you have to create art, post it, see what people respond to, and over time it will appear, it will shape itself. But should you delay sharing your art because you don't have the niche yet? No. If I don't have a niche is something that stops you from taking action, it's just a little obstacle that needs to be moved out of the way. Yeah, you can go on without it. And then there's this idea that you need to be on every platform at once. That also usually comes from a good place, so it's a bit confusing. Yeah, you think, okay, so I'm committed to it, I want to maximize my chances, so you try to post on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, God knows what else, even more Pinterest. Yeah. But what ends up happening is the constant low level stress. You're always behind on something. Yeah. You're repurposing content quickly. You're not really learning what works anywhere, and everything feels rushed and scattered. And instead of building momentum in one place, you're just scraping, you're just like getting by, yeah, maintaining presence, and you're constantly exhausted. And that's a huge difference. It's much more effective to pick one platform, really commit to it and get it done and figure out how it works and do it well. Build some consistency. And once that is stable and you have a bit of a mental space to add something else, then you expand. Trying to do everything at once is one of the fastest ways to burn out without seeing results. So if you step back, all of these things have something in common. They let you feel like you're doing something important, you're progressing, but you're not actually putting your work out there. You're not making the actual progress. You're not moving the needle because the real work is uncomfortable. It makes you exposed and vulnerable. It's making something and thinking this might not be good, yeah, and posting it anyway. It's being consistent even when you don't feel ready. It's improving in public, and most people naturally try to avoid that. It's fine. Our brains protect us from doing something that's scary, yeah? So we tend to stay in this loop of preparation for a while. It's time to get out of it, isn't it? So if you've been spending a lot of time on these kind of details, again, I'm not judging it, okay? It's a very normal phase, but at some point you have to recognize it and change it, shift your focus, because the artists who grow are not the ones who set up everything perfectly. They're the ones who actually do the work consistently for long enough. And if you're at the point when you're like, okay, I get this, but I still feel stuck, what do I do? That's exactly why I created Yes Art Club. It's basically where I help artists stop spinning their wheels on all of this stuff and actually focus on what move things forward. We work on how to build consistency without burning out. We have content ideas ready to use. We have marketing classes that are gonna fix your problems that you're having with social media, with email growth, with multiple things at once, actually. You're going to figure out what actually matters for your growth. You're going to figure out how to start turning your art into something that can generate income faster in a way that's realistic and sustainable. So if that sounds like something you need right now, if you want some support, professional marketing guidance, and community of peers, so if that sounds like something you need right now, there's a link in the description where you can check it out, and there is also a promo code that will activate a free monthly trial for you. So join us, explore it free of charge, and then decide if you want to stick around or maybe you want to opt out. You can cancel anytime. Even if you don't join, just take this with you. If it feels like you're working, but nothing is changing, there's a good chance you're not focusing on the right thing. And shifting that is where everything starts to move. I hope it helps. Let me know in the comments if it helps, and I will see you in the next video.